Hi everyone, thank you for joining me. I'm very excited to be participating in the launch of Alex Syberia Designs physical products. I have been a big fan over the years of their digital stamps and cut files. This next step to offer us hands-on products is significant, and I am so happy to be a part of it. This first set of cards features the Birthday Wishes stamp set and a two-piece die set called Celebrate. I have a set of 4 cards that are fun, quick, and easy. And if you like to make multiple cards to be well prepared for the year ahead, this is a good project for you. Each card is made up of 5 different shades of a particular color. The paper has been trimmed into strips that are 3/4 of an inch high and 4 inches wide. When 7 of these strips are put together, they will form a card front size, 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. Once the sentiment is lined up on the first strip, it's just a matter of repeat stamping. It is super fast. This is a great stamp set with lots of words in different fonts which can be configured in many different ways. Though I only made 1 card per colorway, this would be so easy to cut multiple strips and then just stamp away. The repeat stamping makes for quick and easy cards which would be perfect for making multiples. The paper strips will be adhered to cardstock that is slightly oversized. I'm using double-sided tape. I always hang on to my backing paper, and so that has come in very handy for this project to prevent my hands sticking to the tape as I'm placing the strips down. 2 of the mid-tone greens are pretty close in color, so I made sure that I interspersed them with some of the lighter ones. I have my color pattern laid out on the side, and I just go ahead and add 1 strip at a time. And when I've got to the end of the 5 color tones, I repeat the first 2 colors of strips that were used at the top of the card. The double-sided adhesive tape that I'm using is not very flexible, and once something is stuck to it, it's really stuck. I am being careful as I adhere the strips to the card front. I lay down one end of the strip, making sure that it's lined up, and then as I lower the strip, it is butted right up against the one above it. I do have some minor imperfections on the sides, but when I trim the panel down, I will take care of that. The wording on each of the strips will still look lined up. As I mentioned earlier, this panel is slightly oversized and I want it to be card front size. So the first thing that I do is I take the height down to 5 1/4 inches. I'm going to trim off one of the sides, making sure that I leave a little bit of room so I can do some trimming on the other side and end up with a width of 4 inches. I need to take just a hair off the other side of the panel, and this is when I really appreciate having the Tim Holtz guillotine cutter. I can make this fine cut, and the press plate is going to hold the panel securely. The card fronts for all 4 cards will be mounted on black or white sheet foam. They have been trimmed down to the same size as the panel, 5 1/4 inches by 4 inches. After the panel is adhered to the foam, it is mounted on black cardstock that measures 5 3/8 by 4 1/8 inches. All of the panels were mounted on card bases that were top folding and A2 sized, 5 1/2 inches by 4 1/4 inches. The main sentiment for these cards is a 2-piece die set called Celebrate, which consists of both the shadow die and the script. Just to make sure that this die cut sentiment is going to stand apart from the sentiments that have been repeat stamped on the background, I'm going to stack the shadow die 4 times. The scripty die was used to cut glitter cardstock, which I matched up with the color of the background. This is a fine die, so after I've applied liquid adhesive, I tap it off on some paper to remove some of the excess before it is lined up on the shadow die cut. This is a beautiful die set, and even though it is quite delicate, it is actually very easy to work with. I borrowed a secondary sentiment from another new stamp set by Alex Syberia Designs called Sparkle and Dance. It's your day, and I'm just repeat stamping it on a piece of cardstock ready to be trimmed down. To give it a black emboss look, I'm going to coat the ink with clear embossing powder, and then back to the guillotine trimmer to trim down these small secondary sentiments. Like the main sentiment, I want these small sentiments to have some dimension, so they'll be adhered to the panel with foam squares. Main die cut sentiment will be lined up so that it sits between two of the paper strips near the bottom of the card. The small secondary sentiment will be lined up to the right-hand side of the Celebrate and sit right underneath it. The main and secondary sentiments will be highlighted with confetti that matches the colorway of the card. Nouveau Crystal Drops Morning Dew is added to the confetti. When the drops dry, they are clear, creating a jewel-like effect on the confetti and emphasizing that the Celebrate is the focal point of the card. And that completes this set of 4 cards featuring Alex Syberia Designs, Birthday Wishes, and the Celebrate die set. The repeat stamping technique is a fun way to create multiple cards quickly and easily. I hope you enjoyed this video and will stay tuned for some new projects featuring Alex Syberia Designs' new release.